Alright guys, welcome back to Geek Gab. This is episode 2. We're going to do it based on Mystery Incorporated.
Better known as the Scooby-Doo franchise.
So, we kind of thought of this on the spot today and really did a little bit of research and just ran with it with some of the fan theories out there.
Really went with it because I think the original thing I pitched you was what originally happened was I watched an episode of Scooby-Doo just on one of those boomerang channels on Foxtel like you do, and there was a scene right where Fred was driving the mystery group and they were going to some haunted house, and about halfway up the cliff, that it was like a circular cliff up going towards the house, and halfway up, Shaggy kind of calls out, "Hey, like Fred, should we do this? It looks pretty scary," which is it's a reasonable thing for Shaggy to say.
That's his character.
Fits his character, yeah. And this is like 3-4 seasons in, I think, so it's not unlike.
So Fred knows what Shaggy's like. Yeah, he knows what he's like at this point.
But yet Fred stops the car dead in its tracks, sending everyone forward in a jolt.
So he slams on the brakes.
Slams on the brakes pretty much, right? And then he proceeds to turn around, look Shaggy dead in the eye, with the look, I swear, of a sociopath murderer.
He was a madman.
He is a madman in this scene. And he looks at Shaggy and he says, "Do you want to hop out?"
So
what's that? Is Fred I'm pretty much from this scene, I'm convinced that Fred is a sociopath.
Oh, well, he threatened to kick his friend out on the top of a cliff.
Yeah.
And just leave him there. And, that's scary to me. I don't know, that's creepy. So
we tried investigating this after to see if anyone else kind of had any similar theories, and it turns out Reddit had a field day with this.
Oh, yeah, no, people on Reddit, they turned this into horror. We come up with some crazy research on this one. I'll jump straight in.
Go for it.
This is exactly why I love, geek and pop culture and all this kind of thing, because people can take something so innocuous like a children's television show, and they can really delve so deep into it. For example, I think the Venture Bros touched on this a little bit with their own kind of animated series, but there's the theory out there that Shaggy is himself a bit of a psychopath.
Yeah, I can see that.
They're saying that he was the son of Sam. They're similar to the serial killer Son of Sam. Because that serial killer basically he claimed that demon dogs talked to him and told him who to kill. So let's look at the relationship that is Shaggy and Scooby, okay?
Yeah.
From what I gathered,
borderline bestiality.
I don't know. It's obviously it's supposed to be a joke and all that, but is Shaggy the only one that can hear him?
Yeah, well, you get the occasional, good work, Scoop, from Fred or something like that.
Yeah.
But he could be just delving into the fantasies of.
But not just that. It definitely could be. He could be just letting Shaggy have his own thing and being like, oh, right.
From what I'm convinced of, Fred, this is most likely.
That would if going with your theory, that would be perfect. But then again, it's not uncommon for people to talk to a pet, right?
Yep.
So is it not possible to think that maybe to Fred, Scooby barked in an acknowledging manner, and Fred was just like, "Yeah, that's right, Scoob, good job."
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Shaggy seems to have some form of drug-induced psychosis where he actually believes he has conversations with an animal.
I like to believe that Shaggy is just a normal guy, and he just dresses a bit daggy and has a bit of frizzy hair and a bit of a surfboardy kind of voice, and then everyone's just like, "Oh, he's definitely a stoner." I just like to imagine he's just this nice guy, and he's just getting prejudged.
He's just misunderstood.
Shaggy is misunderstood. #. Send that one out.
We need to get that out there. But my point is, the people of Reddit really ran with that theory, and they basically stated that the Shaggy in the show is like David Berkowitz, also known as the Son of Sam, because he was the only one that can understand it. So perhaps he is actually in some form of his own psychosis, either due to drug. One of the theories I saw was that the other people in Mystery, Velma and that, were actually feeding him the drugs that caused the psychosis. So it wasn't he was doing it of his own
it's
choice.
It's a team effort to try and get Shaggy high.
He was just completely messed up.
Children's shows have come to.
So yeah, well, I mean, that's just crazy. But I mean, it is a pretty hilarious theory to go and have a look at.
All right, so pretty much for leading on from my Fred theories, a lot of my stuff that I've come up with is based around Fred because I just can't let this go. The more and more I've looked into it, I have not been disproven once about any theories I've had about Fred. All right, so I'm just going to give you a couple of examples here. There was an episode in Scooby-Doo where Fred actually kidnaps Daphne and puts her on a beach in a bed and picks her up with a crane and then like wants to have a picnic with her in the middle of the night. Like, what? First of all, what even is that?
Why would you do that?
How is that romantic at all? And like, she's got like a crab rolling over her face in the scene as well. Like, he's not even like taking care of her. He just literally picked her up with a crane, picked up the bed with the crane, and then put her on the sand on the beach. Who does that?
So she just wakes up in the middle of the night on a beach, and suddenly Fred's there.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
That though is in the futuristic version of the Scooby-Doo, so I'm not sure how much canon that is, but it is a show under the Scooby-Doo brand, so I mean I assume that's all canon.
Well, I mean I think that was just like I have seen those ones a little bit. I think that was supposed to be aimed at a more not a mature audience, but it was supposed to be that time has passed and now Fred is actually interested in Daphne.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed
kind
to
of reversed. So when he's young, that he's not really interested in her, but she's interested in that kind of thing.
The obliviousness that he had back then. So yeah, go on.
Walker, I'm not done. I'm far from done with this.
I definitely want to hear it.
Okay, so there's another episode. You know, I think it's in the same branch of the series where it's looking at them in the future, and Fred is confronted by Velma about him having a therapist. And he blatantly denies this and says, I don't have a therapist, what are you talking about? And then they bring up that he's missing, to which
the therapist is missing.
To which he replies, oh yeah. And then goes to talk about Daphne. What?
In such a
How does this not mean he's a serial killer?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty you have shown me that scene and he did say it in a very I don't even know the word.
I would link that.
Yeah. We'll link that and put that in the description so you guys can have a look. It is he's just so careless when it comes to it, as if he knew the therapist was missing to begin with.
Yeah,
creepy.
He definitely also has some daddy issues, as we see.
Yeah.
There's a couple episodes where his dad like literally makes him cry. like this is when he's at the grown man stage, like a grown man being forced to tears by his own father. This is a broken man.
A broken man.
Fred has. He also returns no emotions to Daphne.
Yeah, actually, that's a quick thing that I want to reference. Yeah. He also is very. Not only is he indisposed with emotion toward Daphne, he's actually very emotionless and distant to all of Mystery Inc. There's an episode in that same forward timeline where he is saved by a character who's in like a costume, and he realizes that it's Velma. And he like being so ecstatic that he was saved by her, he like falls to his knees and hugs her, and she replies with, "Jinkies, I think this is the most PDA you've ever shown me."
Clearly referencing that like she has never received any kind of like gratification.
So it's extremely obvious to the other people in Mr. Inc. that he is just a very cold,
emotionally detached human being.
He's got issues with showing his emotional side, I guess.
Well, I'm just stuck on this theory that he has these massive daddy issues that just reverberate his entire character. And there's another scene where him and Daphne go play this game. I think it's like I think it's literally like a whack-a-mole game kind of thing.
Okay.
And they're playing it, and he keeps playing it, so he keeps giving money, which leads to the theory that he has no like sense of money because his father pays for everything, and he just has no understanding of finance, because how does the Mystery Inc. even run? But anyway, that's a whole different joke.
That's a very common theory, is how do they have the funds to consistently tour around the United States?
We'll get there, don't you worry.
Yeah, that's
we'll get there. But anyway, he's playing the whack-a-mole game, and then Daphne's like, oh, yeah, you did good or something, and then like she goes to go kiss him, like she's closed her eyes, pursed lips, right up in his face, And he turns away and then says, "Hi, Dad," and just walks off out of camera shot. Like, this man is clearly infatuated with his own father's love more than anyone else's love.
Oh yeah, he's got daddy issues for sure.
Definitely.
And I mean, he actively ignored Daphne's advances strictly to focus on his father. I think he's stuck on this like make daddy proud mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just so strange how what kind of person he is. He really gives you the indications of a cult leader.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great point. Like, we need to talk on him being a cult leader.
I mean, if you think of all the great cult, or did I really just say great? All the great cult
Is there
leaders.
really a great cult leader though?
Fred.
Fred is probably the most lovable.
If you really think about the situation they're in, it's not too dissimilar from the situation of a cult. They are there from seemingly their own will, but they never really announce anything like about another choice of lifestyle they could possibly have. This seems to be the only life they choose, and Fred is very much the dominant figure of this.
Actually, talking about that, I did see a theory on Reddit that somebody mentioned similar to a cult status, where they actually likened Mystery Inc. to the Manson family.
That is excellent.
So Fred would realistically be Charles Manson.
I'm missing the Nazi sign in the forehead, but
well, yeah, he trades that off
there
with his scarf. I mean, we don't know what kind of anti-racist or racist propaganda he has tattooed under that scarf.
He dresses like some kind of prep high school kid, like he's living in the past.
That's actually something that ties into.
Supposed to be?
They're supposed to be teens, I think, probably 17 or so, but. The thing, like the whole one that I saw on Reddit, talked about the actual choice of dress versus the age. Now, the original cartoon was set in the 1960s because that's when it actually aired. Mm-hmm. That's obviously, that was around the time of hippies and fight the power kind of things like that. So people wore tie-dye colors and they anti-establishment. Yet they choose to wear very conservative clothes with monochromatic colors, and Shaggy's the closest one to what would be a hippie at the time.
Exactly. Like,
but
just look at the van.
Look at the van. They own the van, and that van is tie-dye colored with groovy type of thing. They even say things like groovy and stuff like that.
Yoinks!
Yet they dress completely different. Was there a censored version of this TV show? Like, is that what this was?
A censored version. They're like, you know what? We can have Shaggy, but we can't have any more hippie characters in this show. We need to have some sensible people here. But I think they got that completely wrong, because then they end up with Fred.
Well, yeah, and Fred's
the most emotionally distant character I think I've ever come across in fiction.
Actively seeks the approval of his father and nobody else, and refuses advances made.
He really just kind of gives the impression of a puppet master.
Oh yeah.
I actually theorized something, right? That pretty much Fred is some kind of like psychotic person, and his father is paying the Mr. Inc. gang to play out his fantasies.
Oh, that's
like a Shutter Island situation.
That's deep. So they pay the rest of it, like Velma and that, to go around with him solving fake mysteries.
So that his fantasies can be played out.
So he's just a deranged individual.
Yeah, he's pretty much Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah, but he didn't get an Oscar. I don't think he deserves one.
I don't think Fred's ever getting an Oscar. I think Fred's getting 10 years behind bars.
I did another version that I saw with the cult leader status was actually, so this was a bit of a twist. It does play into them being a cult, but contrary to popular belief, you would think Fred would be the leader, right? Because Fred is the leader of the gang. He's the charismatic,
he's kind of
muscle-bound.
clearly the figurehead.
Yeah, he's the guy that,
the puppet
Shaggy,
master.
you go with this person, you are going to go with here, we'll do that, we'll do this. The theory I saw, in fact, though, puts Velma at the height of the chain, as it were.
She is the only intelligent one of the bunch.
That's what they figured. They figured that she would be smart enough, maybe perhaps so smart that she was ostracized by, other people. And, so they seek fulfillment inside of, well, this isn't my words. This is the words of a Reddit user. That somebody that would
very
be...
reliable source.
They basically said that somebody that would be considered like that, maybe an outcast of society, are the type of people that would seek fulfillment within a cult. Again, not my words. That is Reddit. So basically, they said that she would be smart enough to perhaps trick Daphne and Fred into going on these crazy adventures, and she would enjoy it because she would, hanging out with them would kind of feel like she was being accepted. And obviously, Shaggy being more of a not necessarily a dim-witted person, but he seems like he's just up for anything.
Yeah.
So he would go along with it, and basically the theory continues on to say that she's actually seeking real demonic powers, and that she's increasingly frustrated every time she uncovers one because she believes that real demonic forces are there, but all these other ones happen to be stupid farmers trying to save their plot of land or whatever it is in a mask. So the rest of the story on that Reddit theory goes that she wants to sacrifice the group as her acolytes and tributes to the demon overlord or whatever it is that she finds in an attempt to control them.
That is unbelievable.
So
that's not even the only sacrificing Reddit post I saw. I saw another one theorizing that this is going back to me because I'm just obsessed with Fred, but I'm convinced there's something wrong with Fred.
I don't know. I mean, Velma's definitely looking like a bit of a dark horse.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of forerunners in this situation. But pretty much this one, right, pretty much says that Fred always sends Shaggy and Scooby alone to investigate houses and stuff because he's actually trying to sacrifice them to the monsters to gain superhuman abilities. That he pretty much is a Mormon, and that's why he keeps Daphne and Velma around and stuff like that, and it's unbelievable.
You know what? Speaking of this demonic thing, I actually saw that a theory that, again, on Reddit, the most reliable source on the internet.
Yep, never fails me.
A theory that Scooby is a cursed human being.
That's great.
And that's why they seek, once again, demonic powers and witchcraft and wizardry in an attempt to turn him back to a human. And that explains why he can talk in that theory. And that they seem undeterred by the fact that they have an animal with them that has clear abilities to talk.
Speak.
So, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, the only person I didn't see a theory for was Daphne. In every theory I've ever seen, she's just the dim-witted sidekick that blindly follows Fred.
Yeah, there's so many histories on people's backgrounds and stuff. Like we meet Fred's parents a couple times. We know Velma comes from like a kind of a poor upbringing. We know about like Shaggy and Scoob and stuff, but Daphne's kind of an unknown quantity. We assume she's from the rich side because she's kind of posh and she's that kind of ditzy character.
Meant to dress well and cheerleader type character.
Attracted to a sociopath.
Yeah, so it fits.
Fits her character. But yeah, it probably does show on the show. I'm not going to confess to knowing everything about Scooby-Doo. But yeah, she's an unknown quantity in that sense, isn't she?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I didn't really see, there's probably hundreds of fan theories out there that we didn't get time to look into. But from the ones that I did look at, nobody really seems to peg her at all. In any of the ones that people have decided that they're chasing demon forces and witchcraft powers, she's just an unassuming, stupid girl that got caught in the mix. So I kind of feel for her.
I started running out of some of these Reddit theories, and then I was thinking, some of these aren't funny. They're not that great. And then I hit two at the bottom, which were probably the best Reddit fan theories I may have ever seen. The first one suggests, and I'm not even going to explain this, I'm just going to give you the title of this Reddit thread. Right. This one says, Scooby-Doo is a fugitive Soviet space dog. I just want that to sink into everyone listening.
So, a futuristic Soviet...
No, not a futuristic, a fugitive.
A fugitive.
Soviet space dog.
How did they come up with that?
I don't know, but anyone can look it up if they feel like it. I'm going to talk about this one.
Hold on, let's just... hold on, I really want to talk... I just want to break that down. One, why is he a fugitive? That's understandable. It's a talking dog.
Yeah.
Why Soviet?
Why space dog?
Yeah.
Does he come from space?
Is he an alien and did he land in Russia? I don't... There are so many random connected things. Like, why Soviet space dog? That's bewildering. That's hilarious.
All I know is that space dogs don't melt steel beams.
That's true.
And the last one I saw was that the mystery machine runs on prescription drugs, trust fund money, and sexual favors. So pretty much this one actually is a Velma theory also. It suggests that because she comes from poor upbringing, she has managed to manipulate the rich others and each of them holds a purpose. It suggests that she was she wanted to be in the law enforcement and become a detective, but she kind of had these wacky ways about going about stuff, and that's actually shown in the show. You know, she has some weird investigating knowledge, and it feels like she might have not got that far in university and then decided to form the mystery gang. But she would have met Daphne while she was at university, who would have been studying law, because she brings that up, that, you know, she's very lawful about, like, you know, what they can and can't do on investigations and stuff. And then that's where my man Fred comes in, because he's the financier of this machine running around doing illegal investigations and that kind of stuff. As long as they trick him into thinking that he's in control and everything's going right for him, he will happily fork over the money constantly to keep the machine running and keep Daphne's fantasies playing out. And the last one is that she also knows Shaggy, who is her prescription drug dealer, who keeps her on an ultimate high, and she keeps him around because when he's around, nobody notices how weird she actually is, because he's like the kind of the decoy.
That makes perfect sense, but Shaggy just always struck me more as the drug doer than the drug dealer.
Well, he definitely adds a bit of essence of both, I think.
There are actually a couple of theories out there as well of the Scooby snacks, and that they don't seem to have any kind of a weird effect on Scooby, because obviously it's a dog food.
Yes,
so he is a dog, so it doesn't affect him.
Some people said they created Scooby snacks, which isn't that far-fetched, I suppose, because they're actually called Scooby snacks.
And because that was always a weird thing to me. Was it supposed to be like a deliberate reference? Did they name the dog after the snack?
Is Scooby a type of post-apocalyptic dog?
Am I going to go and get a dog and call it Pedigree Doo? Like,
Pedigree?
You don't name dogs after food. It's weird. Unless it's a schnauzer or something, and then you call it a hot dog. The other theory is that...
just before we move on, I just want to draw back attention to the title. It says also sexual favours, which I did not mention.
Yeah, actually, okay, sorry.
Which, in this case, we're talking about Daphne being used as a sexual entity to play out Fed's destructive sexual fantasies.
Destructive sexual...
Destructive.
I just want to call attention to the use of the word destructive. That is a horrifying word to use on a children's cartoon show.
Fred is a horrifying man.
Well, moving on.
Move on, Morgan.
Okay, the most common theory that I seem to have come across is the theory that actually seems to have actual basis in the show. I haven't seen. Well, it references a character that does come into it, from what I gather, and it actually is referencing plot points. I haven't checked that, so it could be completely wrong. It seems to be based around a creature, an actual paranormal creature, which is an Anunnaki in spirit form, called the Evil Entity. And the story goes that it came here.
That's right.
Many years ago, before like in ancient times or something like that. And 4 hunters created a group with a panther pet called the Secret Hunters, and they actually defeated the creature and locked it in a crystal sarcophagus, which was then taken by a Spanish...
So specific.
Well, I mean, I guess it must play out on the TV show. If it doesn't, then this is some crazy, very oddly specific fan theory. But it says that Spanish conquistadors took the sarcophagus, and then they became possessed by its presence and started like raiding and pillaging towns, realized what they were doing, and then sailed to a random place and then locked it in 4 elemental seals, and then the discus that they used to lock the final door, they shattered into 6 pieces. And then they sailed away and called that place Crystal Cove, which is where allegedly a bunch of the events take place. Then the crystal sarcophagus manages to emit entity powers, and it brings together 4 more people and another pet, which the pet is meant to be there because it's supposed to possess an animal on Earth to create a corporeal form.
Okay.
So that's why Scooby's meant to be there. So the people it happens to bring together were the people we know as the Mystery Inc. people.
Yeah.
So the idea was that it sends them around sorting out these mysteries, in quotation marks, which are actually just people that are possessed by its power, acting really strangely and, you know, thinking that it's a great idea to scare a bunch of people in a ghoul costume to keep money or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's trying to get them to find the 6 pieces for that discus to unlock it. Now, allegedly in the TV show, they actually manage that, and it starts to destroy the town, and eventually they realize that because they're friends, through the power of like their friendship, they're able to defeat the creature. And when that happened, it basically deleted itself from reality and reset the timeline. And this is the fan theory or something like that. Basically, that when it reset all of the timelines and put them back in reality.
This is some heavy shit.
It really goes in depth. This is the part that sets up for the TV show. Yep. So it resets reality. They're back to still solving mysteries. There's no more evil entity, but I don't think they're aware of why they're solving mysteries.
Yeah.
And the people that they're stopping are remnants of the dark power from the entity. And that's why they're acting so strange. How deep is that of a fan theory?
That is,
someone
it's
has
me a while to grab my head around.
Somebody has done their homework.
What happened to kids' television shows that were good and, you know, holy and didn't involve demonic powers of some sort?
Well,
it really feels like that particular episode would have been like a special on like a Tuesday night, and like 6 people watched it, and like Hollywood people were fired.
Oh yeah, I don't know how they fit all of that into a half-an-hour episode.
Mate, I would love to see them try, because it felt like your explanation was longer than half an hour.
That's what I was thinking while I was saying it. I was like, this is really stupid. But I see the problem when I was researching that is that I wasn't like, as somebody that was looking at it, I wasn't able to define what was fan theory and what wasn't. Yeah. So it all just sounded like one insanely convoluted fan theory that happened to center around a random episode.
Yeah.
It just is insane.
Well, I just want to pose a question to you now.
Okay.
How on earth do you think that they managed to finance this machine in actuality? Like, how do they finance the Mystery Inc?
I believe they're fugitives.
They're fugitives on the run.
So basically, they probably just
jack juice from other cars.
Basically, I'm not saying they're crazy like fugitives like every person in every town knows who they are.
They don't seem to ever get paid either.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I'm talking petty thieves.
Ah.
So they pull up to a service station. Fred hops out, fills up the car, starts gassing it up, quickly jumps back in and drives off. You know, the clerk comes running out screaming that they stole petrol, that kind of stuff. They get on the local news, but they're already gone by then.
Yeah.
And obviously, you never see them eat.
That is a good point. Oh, do you see? No. We see Shaggy.
Excluding Shaggy and Scooby.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Well, I just assumed Fred didn't need to eat because he was just,
He feeds on the broken dreams of other people.
So accurate.
My point, I honestly believe wholeheartedly that they are petty thieves and they steal from assorted gas stations around the community.
Yeah. What
about you? What would you say how they managed to finance this incredible operation?
I definitely think that Fred is involved with this one yet again. I
Surprise.
Now, I'm pretty sure they actually bring up that Fred bought the van in the first place, which never sat well with me because yes, he drives it and it definitely seems like his van in a way, but like unless like Shaggy drew all over it, like it always seemed like Shaggy's van because the kind of hippie look with it.
Who bought it isn't super like important, I guess. Like, but what I mean is like how they managed to pay for stuff. But actually, yeah, talking on that explains why there was that episode that you mentioned right at the start of this podcast of Fred saying that he's going to kick Shaggy out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that comes back to him being a sociopath, doesn't it? Like, it's my van, my rules.
He's control. He's the puppet master. Fred the puppet master.
I don't know if he's smart enough to be a puppet master, though. Really?
Does the puppet master need to be smart, though?
No, I mean, they have to have an end game, don't they? Like, you would assume. But then again, was Geppetto really that smart when he wanted a puppet to be a real boy?
Yes.
Yeah,
that
true.
Always worked out well. Have you actually read or heard the actual fiction on Pinocchio?
The Brothers Grimm version?
It is deranged.
Yeah, they're all deranged. They sound like something Fred would write.
I feel like Fred has a diary kept with like sadistic
fan
versions.
fiction.
Yeah, like Fred has a Reddit account and like...
He probably wrote all the theories to throw us off the real one.
Which is like he's some kind of cannibalistic sociopath.
Evil human. He is a strange guy.
He's terrible, and Monsters Inc. will continue to suffer until he is killed.
Oh, definitely. I honestly, I don't know. exactly how we can really manage that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's unbelievable. But yeah, I think that's pretty much going to wrap us up for today's episode of Monsters
Alright.
Inc. Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc. Maybe we'll talk about that next time. Well, actually, you know what? Given all the fan theories, I think it's aptly fair to call it Monsters Inc. Because they are obviously
They're all
horrible
Reddit
people.
monsters.
They are horrible, horrible people. Alright, guys, we've been Geek Gab, Geek Gab rather.
Geek Gab.
That's our
Geek.
story, and we're sticking to it.